ToonGrin.com.
Shush, everyone! Attack!
Hello and welcome to Watchin' Stuff, the show about watching stuff. I'm Nero, and with me is my Canadian counterpart, WHYBOY, and today we're taking a look at Aardman's latest film, Early Man.
Yeah.
Early Man is interesting. British stop motion animation.
Yep, done. But
How would you describe this movie, really? Because the trailers made me think it was just...
yeah, it definitely doesn't.
Like-
it definitely comes off in a different sort of light in the trailers, where it feels all like, oh no, I'm the caveman. I'm just a fish out of water in this whole Bronze Age and such. What am I gonna do here? But no, it's not even that close to that story at all. It's closer to an actual sports movie, where it's just like the ragtag team has
Right?
to come together to basically beat the jerks over there.
I thought the idea going into it, like my understanding from the trailers was, you know, you have a primitive tribe during the Stone Age, but then like the Bronze Age invaders are coming in, so it's like technology versus the old guard. You know, the early man will have to adapt in order for them to survive, or, you know, be left in the dust. And then it becomes like the Mighty Ducks, or God, was it like the Little Green Giants or something like that, the soccer one. And like it's all these sport games where the idea is it's about the underdog overcoming the jerkish team to defy the odds, and you're like, huh.
It's a nice, refreshing sort of surprise. And Aardman, it really does that with its own British style of humor. Because they do football.
I love that, by the way. I love the fact that like they call it football instead of soccer. As you know, as an American, we grew up, that's called soccer, not football. So that to me, I'm like, oh, that's cute. And you know, every character has a accent of some kind. Some are British. I couldn't pinpoint what Lord Newth's accent was. I know Tom Hiddleston was playing him. Was he playing him like he was French?
It felt a little bit European.
He was
in
very
a sense.
snooty.
Yeah.
He was very snooty in his accent. He was very like...
You got a long nose where I go,
And he does. He's got a big old long nose, and he's like pachinko-headed bald. The story is about Doug, D-U-G.
Yeah.
Because it's dry British humor, so it's a pun.
And it's tribe of cavemen who are just basically a bunch of rabbit hunters in their own little valley, and they're having all sorts of fun and all that sort of stuff, just hunting around and all that. But Doug feels like they can just basically go bigger beyond what their original scope is, and he wants to hunt a mammoth. But his chief basically says like, "No, we can't do that. We're a bunch of rabbit hunters. We're look at us. We're a bunch of idiots."
And like we're all a bunch of morons. That's why we stay safe. And I guess thematically the story is about trying new things and coming out of your shell. And you like, there's always a fear of failure. But if you don't try, haven't you already failed?
And it is basically that.
That's sort of
like
the moral.
The whole going out of the valley thing was basically them being pushed out of their comfort zone completely.
Yeah. Like, that's where they were happy. You know, they were in the valley, they hunted rabbits, they did the same thing every day, that was it. They were happy where they were. And then, you know, advancement hits, the Bronze Age hits, and with the idea of the Bronze Age coming in, you know, they had to change and get with the times.
And by the Bronze Age hitting, you basically mean they just kicked the cavemen out, just like, now we're mining here now, get out of here.
Yeah, and I guess that means there's also, like, a thematic of, like, upheaval and racism too, because like the Bronze Age people are mostly snooty jerkwads, are like cave people.
I was watching this with my special someone, and he brought up basically the parallel was like this is like the settlers and the Aboriginals and such, basically just booting them out of their land for their resources. So that's fun.
Which is exactly what they do in this, actually. Like, Lord Newth comes in with his army, and if you remember, once they kicked out the cave people, he, like, pulls up a stone, and it's got, like, bronze nuggets in it, and he's like, yep, we're here for the resources, let's just steal it.
Take all this crap down.
And then it just turned, you know, it's a hard movie to pinpoint, because it's not bad.
No, I feel it's a very good movie.
It's pretty funny.
It's a very funny premise and such, but it didn't really make me sort of laugh out loud funny. It was just like an enjoyable sort of good feeling behind it. It almost felt like a little bit like how I felt with Paddington in a sense. it gives you sort of that calm feeling, just like sort of a lighthearted feeling. Like where we have Doug as the optimistic youth and such, always wanting like him and his team to basically do like go above and beyond, and always believing in himself and such, and that's very uplifting. And then we have Newt and all that, basically trying to put him down and everything. So it's basically optimism versus pessimism in a sense. And
the humor is dry. A lot of it's puns, plays on words. Some visual gags, and some of them are very freaking funny, though.
Yeah, like, the funniest to me was definitely the giant chicken. Or, no, the giant duck.
Oh, the giant duck. Here's the thing. There was a trailer that came out. They spoiled that joke.
I didn't see that one, so it didn't spoil it for me.
You were lucky because, like, the joke is hilarious because, like, it's like all the way in the distance, but you just think it's... But you think it's just a duck. You think it's like a tiny duck. And then, like, this guy throws, like, a big rock, like, the size of his hand, and then you just see, like, the rock fly through the air, and then it just goes, like, on the back of the duck's head, and then the duck turns around and opens its mouth, and it's full of teeth, and you're like, oh my god!
It's like a cross-eyed as well, just to add some doofiness to it.
Yeah, like, one eye's going this way, one eye's that way, and you're like, oh, this poor mentally challenged fowl.
Chases them. Like, it's definitely a visually captivating movie, which is what really pulled me through it. It definitely...
Well, that's like Aardman's like trademark, isn't it? Is that they're very visually captivating with their style.
Yeah, yeah, really. This one definitely felt like they used like much more of the scope of it, like showing the Badlands in such a wide array. And like that one scene where Doug basically goes to the Bronze Agers basically soccer arena, basically falls down the flight of stands.
I like that because it's like he's walking forward and he bumps into.
The railing?
Like, some kind of force field, and it turns out that, like, his pig it's a sliding glass door.
That one I actually remember from the trailer, but it was still really funny, just like...
We must be very quiet and draw no attention to ourselves. Falls down one flight of seats, and you see him roll down all the seats, and then he hits the banister, and you see him just go, ah! Down another pile of seats, hits the banister, ah! Down another flight of seats, hits the crown, and you're like, oh, Jesus. Oh, God, that looked like it hurt.
But it really does do that physical comedy really well, and it's funny like that.
I think my favorite joke was the pigeon one.
Oh, yeah, the pigeon was actually really funny. I did not think I would find it so funny, but they actually really go all the way with that sort of joke. As it starts off with just all like, I'm just leaving a message. It's like, hello, how do I leave a message on this bird? But they actually let the pigeon do a lot of, like, physical motions. Like, he'll grab Newt by the nose, just like, you're a stupid idiot, how could you even do this?
The pigeon, like, pantomiming everything that happens is great. I like it, too, where he's like, this stupid old bird, I really wish she'd get off my back. Message received.
Don't get that bird!
No! That's horrible! And he, like, freaks out. I do think that it suffered from a bit of too many characters. Like,
definitely the whole team.
His tribe wasn't memorable. Like,
no, definitely it was just like Doug the chief for the two main ones, and the girl character who I instantly already forgot because she was just basically the coach character.
Yeah, and now the plus side wasn't really the romantic love interest,
but it was trying to go for that at the end, though.
It tried. It totally did. It didn't, but it was trying to.
That has been like, no, you do not do that. They didn't have any romantic scenes together. You don't do that.
But other than that, it's hard to talk about this movie because it wasn't laugh out loud funny too much. It was just sort of, you snicker a lot.
And you snicker and
like, you see something and you're just like... I think one of the ones that got me like a good snicker was like when Doug gets into the Bronze City and like gate comes down, door locks, another door, lock goes down, locks and rotates, closes in place, shrinks down, another lock clocks in, and then a guard just walks up and goes and like slides a little bolt lock, and it's like, and then he stands at attention. You're like, yeah, because that last one was really that was a key point to make sure nothing was gonna get in. That was funny. It got me a snicker. But that's the thing. Everything was sort of a just I think kids would get little kids. I think will just love it. But I think because we're older, we get good snickers out of it. Like the part where they're running away from
the duck.
Like Doug sneaks in to steal some soccer balls so they can go practice. And when they're running away, one of the guys gets a giant foam finger stuck on him, and he goes, "They went that way," but the foam finger's pointing up, so all the guards look up, and he goes, "No, that way," and then they all run after them, and you're like, "Oh, that's really clever. That's very funny."
Yeah, definitely, it's a much
and
more
again,
like the visual aspect of it is definitely the highlight of the comedy, and the writing is definitely drier and such. Which I feel may be tougher for some kids to laugh at. I think kids would still like this, but definitely the dry comedy is much more for an older audience in a sense, which is sort of a mixture and such. Like British comedy is a lot more drier humor, as we know.
Yeah.
So it definitely wouldn't get as well received. That's like why Aardman movies over here don't really get as well received as it does in Britain, which is sad.
Is this similar in tone and feeling to like Wallace and Gromit? Because I didn't watch those movies.
Wallace and Gromit definitely has that sort of like over the top sort of cartoony-ish things. Like Wallace and Gromit, they definitely go over the top. Like their last movie, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, has one of the characters turned into a giant bunny. so it's not playing it straight and all that. But it definitely has that tongue-in-cheek humor and does a lot of pantomime sort of humor with Gromit more than anything. And I feel in terms of comedy, Wallace and Gromit is definitely much more funnier in a sense, as it goes a lot more over the top and such. Well, here, we don't have the character build up to basically laugh more. Like the one joke that should have been really funny was like one of the cavemen that basically has a friend who's a rock with just a smiley face on it. And then by the end of the first act, that rock is dead. He goes, "No!"
I think if they built that up till Act 3, it would have been more worth it. But because Act 3 changes from like an invasion movie to a soccer game, you could only get that joke in the first act. And it's still kind of funny where it's like they shoot their like bronze spears and they like lop the stone's head off and he just goes, "Ah!" And it's like all over the top and you're like, that's kind of funny. And you just sort of, again, leave it at that.
It's just the movie's just biggest issue. Is that it didn't have enough build-up to basically make it like big, deep in the gut laughter. It just set up enough to basically be chuckle-worthy and just basically be just a fun ride from beginning to end. Like, I would definitely watch it again and just have a nice, enjoyable time doing it. So, I would just have to rate it, because I'm just going to rate it right now, a good watch.
I can completely concede to that idea, and I do agree that it's a good watch. I feel like I'm not big on Aardman films, so I don't really know them very well. The one I always think of when I think of Aardman is I always think Arthur Christmas. That's the one my mind always goes to.
Yeah.
It's, even though it's the one that's the most different, and I know that Nick Park, the guy who created Wallace and Gromit, he created Early Man, Shaun the Sheep, that's him. I'm not well versed in those other films.
Yeah.
And I know that Arthur Christmas is different from those other ones, but something about Arthur Christmas really resonates with me, where this is like, this is fun, this is goofy. If his other films like Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep are in the same area, I could see them being fun, enjoyable films.
And I definitely
cute.
feel that we're going to definitely cover them on ToonGrin sometime. As I have them in my collection right now. Basically Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Pirates, Band of Misfits, and Shaun the Sheep movie. We'll review all the Aardman movies because Aardman is definitely one of the high-tier stop-motion companies around. Like, they are on the same level as Leica, in my opinion. with their quality in animation and storytelling, and definitely in Aardman's case, humor. They've been keeping like pretty on the same line of everything. So,
oh, dude, what if they teamed up?
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing. They definitely do two different styles, basically making their stop motion models though. As this one has much more clay figures and such, and they work more in like puppets and all that.
Combine them. Maybe do some kind of like in-between sort of deal. It could be very interesting. I've always what was the other one they did too? Something Band of Misfits?
Pirates Band of Misfits.
That's I own that, and that was fine. That was also, again, there's a lot of funny jokes, but they're all like, no joke is made to be really over the top. They all feel really subtle. Like here's a pun here, or a play on words, or a visual gag, and it's just like,
Yeah, in a way, that might be sort of like the movie's greatest failing, but also greatest strength as well. Like, it just makes sort of like a viewing experience that basically is just sort of enjoyable all the way through. Just sort of like maybe a nice burger in a sense. Like you eat it and it just stays with you. It gives you that warm feeling. It just sort of just passes through without leaving much behind. It's not like tasteless blandness. It's just a nice smooth feeling all the way through.
yeah, I think people can watch this and be like, that was enjoyable, and it feels, it's pretty short. I think it's hour 20.
Yeah, something like that.
So, and this year it's not looking too good for kids' films.
Well, we'll have to see. Maybe Sherlock Gnome will make it to number 1. No.
And then there's Teen Titans Go.
And The Grinch. And Gnome Alone.
So, guys, this is a shorter episode than usual, but it's a nice, simple, fun film. It feels like a nice callback to those sport, movies we used to grow up on. Our Mighty Ducks, our Big Little Green Giants, whatever that movie was called where the kids play soccer. Damn it, I can't remember the title for some
definitely
reason.
go out to see it in theaters if you can, because it's still a fun movie. Take it out with your kids and all that. It's smart, funny, kooky. It's everything a good
beats Peter Rabbit.
It's definitely everything a good kids movie should be.
So, with that said, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, give a little love tap to that notification bell just to be kept up to date on everything. Be sure to hit us up on either TeePublic or Patreon. You could support us through either one. We have all sorts of original designs that we've made. We've also got a deal with T-Blocks where if you use our code, you can get all sorts of cool merchandise. WHYBOY, what is our code for T-Blocks?
Our code is ToonGrin TBX. And you get 10% off your purchase at checkout of any up there. Many boxes they can have. Like the one that you can usually get is for $7.99, where you get one graphic tee of any cartoon that you put into it. But it's a nice surprise each and every time. What can you get? Will you get an Adventure Time one? A Scooby-Doo one? You'll never know unless you actually go to T-Blocks and basically check it out.
It's basically like a mystery box with all sorts of cool pop culture stuff.
Mystery.
With that said, guys, as always, remember to tune in.
ToonGrin.